Hey guys, welcome back to the part 4 of this game tutorial series where we are making this platformer game. And in the previous video, we designed our first level in this game. And in this video, we are going to set up finish line, kill zone and obstacles in our level. And before we jump in the tutorial, let me tell you, you can download this project from my Patreon where you can access all the assets and UI I use for this game along with the whole project. The link is in the description. So as we are done designing our level and when our player enters this finish line, we are going to display a UI that says the level has been finished and give them a couple of buttons to go to the next level, main menu or retry. So in your content browser, right click and create a new folder. Let's name this user widget, and inside this folder we are going to keep all the UIs that we are going to have in this project. So right click and scroll down. Here you will find this user interface. Under this, click on widget blueprint and select user widget. Let's name this level finish UI. Now open this up. Now currently there is nothing inside this design. So from the palette, search for the canvas panel and drag it here. And inside this canvas panel, we are going to keep all the elements that we need to design this UI. Now let's add a background blur first. Drag it under canvas panel and then size it all over your canvas. You can give it the size of 1920 on X and 1080 on Y, and this will cover all your canvas. Now down here, you can increase its blur strength, but I'm gonna keep it 3. Now if you look at its anchor point, it's on the top left. You can change it from here and I'm gonna select this one because this is gonna lock this background blur from all the edges and it will completely fit with your screen size. Now the next thing I'm gonna add is border. Drag it under the canvas panel and size it up all over your canvas, or you can keep the size to 1920 on X and 1080 on Y. And then set the anchor to this one. Now from the brush color, you can change the color of the border, but I'm gonna keep it close to black. And from the A channel, you can reduce its transparency. I'm gonna set it to 0.3. So now it has a little bit of black background with some transparency. Now let's search for the text and drag it under the canvas panel. And from here we can change the text. Let's name this level finished. Let me drag this to the center. And under the fonts, from here we can change its size. I'm gonna set it to 100. And here let's check this size to content, so the box will fill up according to the size. And from here we can change its color and all stuff. I'm gonna keep it all green. Click OK. And here you can change its style too, so let's keep it bold italic. This looks good. Now set the anchor at the center so the text will always remain at the center. And after that we are going to add a button, so search for it. So drag it into the canvas panel and let's resize it a bit. Now I'm gonna place our first button in bottom left corner somewhere here and give it the size of 300 by 120. Now you can change its color from here. I'm gonna give it some red color. Now click OK. And now let's search for the text and drag it under the button. Increase some size of this text and let's name this main menu. Now our button is almost ready and we are just going to right click and rename this button. Let's name this main menu underscore button. Now let's duplicate this button and name this one retry button. Now let's drag this to somewhere at the bottom center and let's change its color to, let's say, green. And now we are going to set the text to retry. The same way, duplicate the another button. I'm gonna name this next button. Drag this to bottom right and let's set the color to yellow. Now for this, I'm gonna set the text to next. Now we are almost done with this UI. Just make sure the anchors are at the appropriate places for each button. Alright, so now we are done with designing this UI. And now when our player crosses this finish line, we want to display this UI to the player. Now there must be something that triggers when we cross this finish line so that we can show this UI to the user. So for that, go to your content browser and go to any folder, then right click and from here add a blueprint class. Now from these we are gonna select the actor class because this is the most suitable class for such blueprints. Let's name this finish line BP and then open it up. Now this is where we can add components for this actor, and in the event graph we can write logic for it. So let's add a component and search for box collision. Now let's resize this box a bit for our finish line. And after that we are going to place this actor right here at the starting of the finish line. So now when a player passes through this box, we want to show this UI. So for that, go to finish line BP, and here on the box, right click. In the add event, we are gonna add component begin overlap. Now what this do is, when a player will overlap through this box, it is going to trigger this event. Now first we are gonna check if the actor that overlap this box is equals to our player character. So search for get player character and plug this here. Now from this condition, search for the branch, which is going to tell us if the condition is true or false. So if the condition is true, we are going to show this widget. So from the true condition, search for create widget, this one. And here from the class, we are gonna search for level finish UI, which we just created. And from the return value, we are going to add a widget to the viewport. Now after that, get player controller and set input mode to UI only. So this is going to cut off any inputs from the game and will only focus on the UIs. And then from the player controller, search for set show mouse cursor. And make sure you check this so that it will show the mouse cursor and you will be able to click the buttons. Now let's play and test this. So let's cross the finish line, and there you can see we have this level finish UI displayed to the player. But in the background you can see our player is still running, so we gotta fix that. And of course these buttons won't work because we haven't wrote any functionality for them yet. But for now we can write functionality for the retry button. But before that we gotta fix that running problem of the player. So here make some space. The sequence doesn't really matter, but let's just add a disable input node here and then get a player controller and plug this here. Now let's go to level finish UI, and here we're gonna write functionality for the retry button. We don't have any main menu yet, but we're gonna make one soon. And also we just have only one level, so we can't go to next level yet. But for now, let's just click on this retry button. In the details panel, if you scroll down, here you'll find this on click event. So add one, and this will create this on click event in your event graph. And this is going to trigger when you'll click on this retry button. So when you click the retry button, execute a console command, and in the command type restart level. So this way you are going to restart your level. But in the finish line BP, if you remember, here you are setting the input mode to UI only. So get the player controller from here. So after we restart, we are going to set the input mode back to game only. And then search for set show mouse cursor and remain this unchecked so that the mouse cursor will be hidden. So now let's play and test this. Here we cross the finish line, the player has been stopped, and in these buttons, if we click on retry, the level has been restarted and we can play again. Alright, so now it's time to create our first obstacle in this game, and I'm gonna place it somewhere here. So let's just go to your content browser, and here let's create a folder and let's name this obstacles. So here we are gonna create a blueprint class of actor type, and let's name this base obstacle BP. Open this up. Now here let's add a component that is static mesh. Let's rename this to obstacle mesh because this is going to be a static mesh that is our obstacle. Like for example, from here we can select any static mesh that we want to use obstacle in our game. Like this wooden trunk. We can use this as an obstacle, but for now keep this static mesh component empty because this is going to be the parent class of all the other obstacles we're gonna make. I'll explain you that in a moment, but for now let's add one more component, that is box collision component. So when our player overlaps through this box, we can detect that our player has hit the obstacle and we can apply force on him. So let's name this interactive box. And we will resize this box according to the obstacle mesh size. Now right click on the interactive box and add a begin overlap event. Now this event will trigger when an actor will overlap through the box. So the first thing we are going to do is, we are going to check if that other actor is equals to our player character. Now rather than searching for branch, we can hold B to get the branch. Now if that overlapped actor is our character, then from this get player character reference, we are going to launch the character. Now what this node will do is, this will force our character in a certain direction with a velocity value. So it will look like that our character has been pushed, and this is where we give it the velocity value. Now we'll see that in a second, but for now let's just print something so that we would know that our player has been hit. So search for the print string, and here let's type a message. Let's type you got hit. Alright, so now let's create a child class of this blueprint. So right click, go to blueprint class, and here in the all classes, you're going to search for this base obstacle BP. There it is, so select this and let's name this rotating obstacle BP. Now open this up, and since this is a child class, here you'll see you already got all the components that it has in its parent class. So in this child class, you're going to select your obstacle mesh. So I'm gonna use a wooden trunk, here it is, and now we need to size this interactive box according to the obstacle mesh. Since through this box only we are going to detect if a character has been hit by this obstacle. I think now the size is fine. So now what we want is, we want to rotate this obstacle in z-axis like this, and to do that we can write logic in this event graph, but there is a quick and an easy way to do that. So here let's add a rotating moment component, and this will help us to rotate this actor in any direction we want. So here if I rotate this mesh, here you'll see the z value is changing. That means we are rotating it in a z-axis. So in the rotating moment component, here in the rotation rate, here we have to set the value in the z-axis right here. And this value determines the speed of rotation, and I'm gonna keep the speed to 100. So now let's place the obstacle in our level. Let's move it a little bit up and let's change its scale a bit. Looks fine. So now let's play and test this. So if you see that obstacle from here, you can already see it's rotating. So let's go near that. And now let's get hit by that. And on the top left, you can see it prints you got hit. That means it's working. And we were also having that weird camera collision issue, so we are also going to fix that. For that, go to your base obstacle BP, and here select this obstacle mesh, and in your details panel if you scroll down, you'll find this collision preset, and it's set to block or dynamic. And here we want to set this camera to overlap, and to make that change, first we need to change it to custom, and there we can now change it and set camera to overlap, so our camera won't be blocked when it overlaps with this obstacle mesh. So now that camera collision problem must have been fixed. Now let's come back here where we are printing this message, and now instead of printing this message, we are going to add a hit impact on our character so that our character will be pushed to the direction our obstacle is rotating. So here get the obstacle mesh and then get physics angular velocity in degrees. There it is. And then add a multiply operator just like this, and don't worry, I'll explain you what we are doing here, but before that, from this sweep result, break this structure, and this will give you all the information about this overlap event. And the information that we want here is the impact point and multiply it with the angular velocity. So when this obstacle rotates, we are getting its rotation speed, and we multiply it with the impact point, the point where our character has hit this obstacle, so that we can calculate the direction of the force that our character should get hit with. Alright, so after this, search for make rotation from Z. We did this because we only want that rotation value from the Z axis. And now we are going to multiply this to amplify the effect, and let's set the value here 1000. So this way we have calculated the hit velocity of the obstacle, and now we just need to push this character in that direction. So for that, from here search for the launch character, and here plug this to launch velocity. Alright, before that we need to convert this pin to vector, and now you will be able to plug this here. So I think this should work. So now let's play and test this. Let's go near that obstacle first. Now let's get hit by this obstacle. Here you can see it forces me in its rotating direction and push me off this bridge. Alright, so one more thing here. What if we want to change the speed of this obstacle? Let's say we have these two obstacles in the same level, and this one gonna have different speed and this one will have different speed. So how you gonna do it? I mean, if you just go into their blueprint and try to change it from here, it will change the speed for both of them. So how you gonna control the speed separately? So for that, go to your base obstacle BP, and from here add a variable, name this speed, and set the variable type to float. Now compile, and from here you can set this variable default value. Now in the rotating obstacle, here you can see we are using 100 value here for the speed in the z-axis, so we can set its default value to 100. Compile again. Now since this rotating obstacle BP is the child blueprint of this base obstacle BP, so we can access this speed variable inside that rotating obstacle BP too, since it's automatically inherited into its child classes. Now go to the event graph, and here what we want to do is get event begin play. This event triggers at the very beginning. So what we will do is, we will get this rotating moment component, and through that we are going to set the rotation rate. And here we want to change this Z value. So right click and split the struct bin so we can access each value separately. And here for the Z value, we are going to use this speed variable. So here we can access this speed variable since it has been inherited from the parent class, and we plug this here. And since it's a variable, we can change its value anytime we want. So now as this rotating speed value can be controlled with this speed variable, what we are going to do is go to the base obstacle BP, select this variable, and from the detail panel, check this instant editable and expose to spawn option. Now what this will do is, if you go to your level and select this obstacle, here you'll see you can access the speed variable in the editor. Same for this other obstacle. So now you can set different speed values for both of these obstacles. So for the first obstacle, let's set the speed to 150, and for the second one, let's keep it to 100. Now let's play and test this, and I can already see the speed difference from here. And if we go near it, you can see the first obstacle is a little bit more faster than the second one. But I'm just going to keep only one obstacle in this level. Alright, so now there is one more issue in this level. So if I jump from this walkway, our player will keep falling and falling until it hits the kill zone. So what we are going to do is, open up your content browser, and here right click and create a blueprint class of actor type, and let's name this killzpp. Open this up, and here let's add a box collision. Let's rename this to killzbox. So when a character will overlap with this box, our character dies and the game will be over. So now let's place this into our level, and we are going to place this beneath our level, and also we want this box to cover a whole level. Now if we try to do that from the blueprint, it will be really hard to guess how much size this box needs to cover up the whole level. So a better way to do this is from the details panel. From here we can access individual component inside any blueprint. So while we select this killz box, we can resize it according to our level. There you go, we have covered the whole level. Also let's move it a little bit upward so that our player don't have to fall so deep. So now let's go to your killzpp, and here let's add a begin overlap event for this killz box, and the first thing we are going to check is if the overlapped actor is a player character. Then we are going to destroy actor, and the target is going to be our player character. So this should destroy our character as soon as we fall into that kill zone. So let's play and test this. Here we jump, and our character has been destroyed. That means it's working, but that is not it. Now we are going to display a game over UI whenever our character will fall over, so that they will get chance to retry. So open up your content browser, go to user widget folder, and to make that UI quickly, we are just going to duplicate this level finish UI. Let's name this game over UI. Open this up. And here we are gonna make some changes. Firstly, we don't need this next button, and we are gonna scoot this retry button to its right. Also set the anchor to bottom right, and then change this text to game over. And also let's change its color to red. Now we are done with designing this UI. For this retry button, we already have this functionality because we duplicated the level finish UI. Now we are going to show this UI when we fall into the kill zone. So search for create widget, and here in the classes search for game over UI and add it to the viewport. Now once we displayed this UI, then get player controller, and through this set input mode to UI only. So we'll cut off from any in-game inputs, and then search for set show mouse cursor, and check this to show the mouse cursor so that we can click the buttons. So now let's play and test this. Let's jump off this walkway, and there you go, our character gets destroyed and this UI show up. And this main menu button won't work yet, but we can click on this retry to restart the level. And here we can do one more thing, search for the height fog. Here it is. Let's drag this a bit upward so the fog would be visible a bit on the surface level. That's fine I guess. And now if we play, there you can see the fog is quite visible and it's looking really good. So that is it for this part of our game tutorial series, and in the next part we are going to create a countdown timer so that the player has to complete the level before it runs out. So if you like this video, you can support me on Patreon, where you can access this game project file and all the assets I've used for this game. The link is in the description, and you can also join our Discord server where you can interact with other developers of this community. And if this video helped you out, and make sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I want to thank Patreon members of this month. Thank you so much for your support, it means a lot. Till then, see you, bye bye.